What if love could be tested like diamonds, under fire, under pressure? A millionaire, once broken by betrayal, returns with silence in his heart. He hides his wealth and pretends to be ruined. He goes back to the ex-wife, who once vowed to love him forever. Would she choose him again if he had nothing? Or would her heart betray her this time? This story is not just words, it is a mirror for every soul. It will break your heart, heal it, and change how you see love forever. And if this story touches you, don't just pass by, subscribe and like. Tell us in the comments what you saw and felt in this journey. The millionaire arrived at his ex-wife's mansion dressed, not in silk but in simplicity. His golden watch replaced by a plain leather strap. He knocked at the grand doors, only to be welcomed with a cold stare. She had remarried the luxury of life, and her eyes no longer carried warmth but calculation. She spoke kindly, yes, but her kindness was sharp. Like glass, it shone yet cut. She invited him in, offered a seat, but her words slipped into questions about his business, about whether he was still doing well. His chest ached as he played along, pretending to be bankrupt, waiting to see if her arms would embrace him in his downfall. But with every smile she gave, he felt a hidden judgment. The silence between them grew heavy, like thunder waiting to strike. Still, he stayed, because he had one more test to make. Later that night, when the mansion fell quiet, the millionaire noticed someone else. A maid dressed in a simple uniform, carrying herself with a dignity that shone brighter than diamonds. She saw him shivering in the cold guest room, without blankets or warmth, and quietly placed her own shawl over him. No questions, no conditions, just compassion. The next morning, when he asked for water, she brought him not only a glass, but a breakfast she had secretly prepared. "Why are you helping me?" he whispered, his eyes searching hers. She only smiled softly and said, "Because love is not about what you have, sir, it's about what you need." Her words pierced him deeper than any jewel he had ever bought. For the first time in years, he felt something real, something his wealth had never bought. The millionaire could no longer hold back the storm that had been burning in his chest. In the grand hall, beneath the glittering chandeliers and the echo of footsteps on marble, he finally revealed his truth. His voice was steady, but his eyes carried years of pain. "I am not ruined," he said, and the words sliced through the silence like a blade. "I am still who I was, the man with more wealth than this house could ever hold. But I was searching not for gold or grandeur, but for something far rarer. Love that survives when the gold fades." The hall grew colder, as if even the walls leaned in to listen. His ex-wife gasped, her face draining of color, her polished mask of charm cracking like shattered glass. In a desperate attempt, she stepped forward, her hands trembling, her voice softening into false concern. "I didn't mean," she began, forcing tears that weren't there. But he raised his hand, commanding silence, and his eyes blazed with quiet fire. "Too late," he whispered, and the weight of those two words struck harder than thunder. Then slowly he turned away from the woman who had once promised forever and looked at the Maid, the woman who had given kindness in the shadows, when she believed he had nothing to offer in return. His gaze softened as he spoke, his words trembling yet filled with unshakable truth. True love does not shine in the banquet hall. It shines in the quiet corners, in the unnoticed moments, in the sacrifices no one applauds. It shines where no one is watching. The hall fell silent, as though time itself held its breath. His heart beat like thunder. His voice broke with emotion, yet his soul felt lighter than it ever had. For in her eyes, gentle, honest, and unwavering, he had found the truth he had been searching for all his life. And in that moment, the millionaire realized he was no longer a man testing love. He was a man who had finally found it. And so, in front of the marble pillars and chandeliers that had once defined his pride, the millionaire made the most radical choice of his life. For years, those glittering lights had been symbols of his status, reminders of his victories, trophies of a world where money ruled over meaning. But in that single moment, none of it mattered. The chandeliers above, no longer dazzling him, seemed dim compared to the glow he found in the simple, honest eyes of the woman who had shown him compassion when he had nothing to give. He stepped forward, each footstep echoing like a declaration, and stopped before the maid. Her hands, roughened by work, bore the marks of sacrifice, proof of a life of service, not luxury. Yet when he touched her hand, it felt warmer than any velvet glove, truer than any diamond ring. Holding it tightly, he declared with a trembling yet powerful voice, "With you I am richer than I have ever been." His words did not rise like an announcement but flowed like a vow, filling the hall with a truth that could not be denied. The maid froze, her breath caught in her chest. Tears welled in her eyes, slipping down her cheeks, not out of disbelief, but out of a humble astonishment. She had never imagined herself worthy of such words from a man the world called powerful, from someone who could command empires. Yet here he was, seeing her not as a servant, but as the treasure he had searched for all his life. She lowered her head, whispering through her tears, "Why me? I'm no queen, no match for your world." But he lifted her chin gently, his voice breaking yet steady. "No, you are more than a queen. Queens rule over kingdoms of people, but you have ruled over something greater, my heart, without even trying. And that, my love, is something no crown could ever do." The ex-wife stood frozen at a distance, her silence echoing louder than any storm. The jewels around her neck seemed to weigh her down. The expensive gown that once made her feel powerful now looked like a costume for a role she had already lost. She tried to speak, but the words died on her lips, for deep inside she knew she had failed the test, not because she lacked beauty, but because she lacked truth. Outside, the world seemed brighter, freer, as though nature itself celebrated the choice made inside those marble walls. The night sky sparkled not with chandeliers, but with countless stars, and the air carried a strange softness, like the beginning of spring after a long winter. For the first time in years, the millionaire felt alive, not as a man of riches, but as a man of love. He had learned the greatest lesson life could offer. Wealth can build walls, but love builds homes. Money can fill tables, but love fills hearts. Gold can blind eyes, but love opens souls. And the maid, who once thought herself invisible in a mansion of riches, became the queen of a heart that had been searching all along. In her simplicity he found depth. In her silence he found truth. In her sacrifice he found eternity. Together they walked forward, not as master and servant, not as rich and poor, but as two souls bound by something more precious than all the treasures of the earth, true love. So remember this: true love never counts coins, it counts sacrifices. True love does not glitter, it glows. True love is not proved in comfort, it is proved in storms. And if you believe in that kind of love, don't just walk away. Subscribe, like this story, and tell us in the comments what you saw, what you felt, and what true love means to you. Because who knows, the next story of love, sacrifice, and truth could be yours.